Hello everyone and welcome back to the EDH Jank Center, your source for everything Commander and everything Jank. I'm your host Jordan, or Prairies, you can call me either, and today we're talking about Rona. Not that Rona, not Pandemic Rona, but Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful. You saw the thumbnail, you know the drill by now. We're gonna do a mini deck tech on Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful. We're gonna choose 5 cards that I think are super synergistic, underutilized, janky, but can still do work in a build centered around this lovely gal. So we can't do a deck tech without going over the commander first. So today we got Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful. 1 blue, black, legendary creature, human wizard from Dominaria United. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life. You may cast Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other costs, and she's a 3/4. So first look at this card. It's a bit janky, it's a bit underwhelming, but that's what we love here on the EDH Jank Center, and I'm going to show you how we're going to try and make this work. So the first thing that I like about Rona, besides her dope hair, is that super dope second ability that allows us to skirt commander tax. If she gets killed, we can put her in our graveyard, and we know that if we can discard cards, which is super easy in blue and black, we can cast her from our graveyard without having to pay commander tax. However, for today's purposes, we are going to focus on that first ability, which is all about draining opponent's life. We're going to be doing it in a spell slinging strategy. We're going to be casting lots of instants or sorceries and hopefully doubling up on those triggers, draining everyone's life, and hopefully getting in for the win. All right, little babies, we're starting off today with our most expensive card. It's Irenicus's Vile Duplication. 3 and a blue sorcery from Battle for Baldur's Gate. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except the token has flying and isn't legendary if that creature is legendary. So this card was a no-brainer, folks. Already it'll trigger Rona when we cast it the first time, but what are we going to target with this spell? Rona, of course. We're going to create another copy of her that's non-legendary, and now we get 2 drain triggers off of each instant or sorcery we cast. There's a reason Irenicus's Vile Duplication has now risen to almost $5. It's so good, and it becomes even more busted if you can make copies of this spell itself and create 3-4 copies of Rona. Then we're really getting into business. Okay, moving on, we got Fairy Tauntings. 2 and a black, tribal enchantment fairy from Lorwyn. Whenever you play a spell during an opponent's turn, you may have each opponent lose 1 life. Pretty simple tech here, but from a card I had never seen before, and I love it. So this card is just building upon our life drain strategy, our win con in the build. In a spell slinger deck, especially in blue and black, we're going to be utilizing a lot of instants, things that we can cast at any point in the game. It doesn't have to be on our turn, it can be on our opponent's turns as well. So now we can start doing things on our opponent's turns or in response to their end step before we come to our turn, drain them of a bunch of life, and then continue our value engine on our turn. And that's really all I have to say about this card, other than I demand Wizards to bring back Lorwyn. The art is so cool, look at that! Anyways, moving on. Coming up next, we got Wizards of Thay. 3 and a blue creature, human wizard from Battle for Baldur's Gate. It has Myriad. Whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of this creature that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at end of combat. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. And it's a 3/3. So this card enables some really fun shenanigans. So without the Myriad tokens, this card is just really great on its own. It allows us to cast sorcery spells at instant speed. I mean, that's incredible already. It's a cost reducer, so it makes our spells cost 1 less to cast. This is and probably will continue to be a staple in most spellslinger decks. The thing though that I love most about this card is the shenanigans it enables with sorcery cards when we attack with Wizards of Thay. So in a 4-person game, we have 3 total copies of Wizards of Thay if we attack with it, all thanks to those really sweet Myriad triggers. And because Wizards of Thay says we can cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, which means we can cast them at instant speed, in response to blockers, we can now cast Rise from the Tides for 3, Siphon Mind for 1, and Dark Petition for 2. Very dope, very tasty. Baldur's Gate just absolutely smacks. All right, we are following that dope card with another dope one. It's Edgemore Witch. 2 and a black creature, human warlock from Strixhaven. Ward, pay 3 life. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 3 life. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. And she's a 3/2. Gotta love her. We gotta love her. We just gotta love her. Stats and abilities first. She's a 3-drop for 3/2 power and toughness. She has Menace, and she has Ward, pay 3 life, which in our life drain strategy is really important. If someone wants to get rid of this card, they're gonna have to pay 3 life. But what I love about this card most is that last ability. We are going to be running a lot of instants and sorceries in a build like this. Not that much room for creatures, so we need as many chump blockers as we can for all the defense against token decks and other creature-heavy decks. And this wonderful Lady of the Night gives us that that and more with the life gain on the pests. When the pests die, we get to gain life, which will help pad our life total for any and all of those spells and creatures that people are going to target us with. Oh my god, and in record time, we are already at the last card of the video. Guys, if you've been really enjoying this video, make sure you check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. Patrons get access to the EDH Jank Center Discord where we chat about cards, sets, spoilers. We have spell table games. Patrons get to watch my videos early. There's lots of great benefits and really fun perks, and all your support helps me make more content for you guys. All right, back to reality with our last card of the day, which is Mind's Desire. 4 blue sorcery from Scourge. Shuffle your library, then remove the top card of your library from the game. Until end of turn, you may play it as though it were in your hand without paying its mana cost. If it has X in its mana cost, X is 0. This also has Storm. When you play this spell, copy it for each spell played before it this turn. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a finisher. Picture this, you're casting cantrip after cantrip, your opts, your brainstorms, your friggin' other guys. And then all of a sudden you slap out Mind's Desire and you can copy it, start casting spells for free, and it just gets so overloaded. You're draining all your friggin' opponents, man, and they're all just going like, ah, you're so cool, and all that good stuff. Well, that might be what happens if you put this card in the deck. But for real, play this after you've cast a couple spells on your turn or on your opponent's turn if you have Wizards of Thay out, and you can start casting cards for free. Even more busted if you can start copying Mind's Desire itself, draining a bunch of life off of Rona's triggers, and hopefully closing out the game that way. All right, and just like that, we are done with today's video. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what cards you'd include in a Rona Sheoldred's Faithful build. Are there any cards that I missed? I'm always down there in the comments interacting with you guys, so come on down and have a chat with me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.